I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Pillar, would you please do the prayer?
Sure. Everyone would please bow their heads. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for the opportunity to get together this evening and to discern over the needs of our fine city. We pray and thank you for the moisture that you've provided us as of late that was needed. And we pray that you watch over all of those folks that work in the fields, that they can safely accomplish their works. We pray that you guide us in all that we do. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I think we have the reading and approval of the September 19th meeting minutes, please.
Motion to forego the reading and approve them as submitted.
Okay, motion by Pillar.
Second.
Second by Weider. Discussion. All in favor of the approval of the minutes, say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, minutes are approved. Approval of the agenda. Any changes or additions, corrections? There are none. I'll take a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Motion by Weider.
Second.
Second by Stern. Discussion. All in favor of the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The agenda is set. 5A, so engineers report. Monty, they're not calling in. Anything we need to talk about or discuss?
I did have some correspondence with Jared regarding the Expedition Estate stuff. They are still working on a contract on that one, but it looks like it'll probably be spring till that work is done.
Moving down to 5B, North Dakota Rural Water Users Association. Ward,
Good evening,
evening.
President, members of the commission. I'm Ward Ledbetter with North Dakota Rural Water Systems Association. We provide technical assistance and training in water and wastewater needs for small communities under 10,000 population. We do this based on membership, and if you are not a member, we'd still be coming here under contract with USDA Rural Development to provide the same technical assistance. Check and see discussion with Dave on some of the upcoming regulatory needs that are coming down the pike from Department of Environmental Quality and from the EPA. The first one has been in place since 1978, 42 years. And that's the Backflow Prevention and Cross Connection Control Program. So it requires that the city implement a backflow prevention strategy to protect your users from contaminants or pollutants. Pollutants are anything at all. Change of water's aesthetics, taste, odor, smell. Contaminants are those that have health effects and or lethal. So I believe you chose to do the containment plan, which just is the city protecting the users from the city's uses. And it would affect any city-owned structure or no-fee water connections, those that you don't charge for. Part of that program requires that the water department staff would do an assessment of those facilities and determine if a pollutant or contaminant exists. And I believe you've gotten most of the way through those.
Yeah, we got all the buildings listed, and we have one portable one that we use on hydrants.
Okay. So as part of that, it also requires that the backflow preventers be tested annually by a certified technician. They must be installed by a licensed plumber. The portable one is a kind of gray area for EPA, DEQ, and the plumbing board. So since it is mobile, it's installed frequently. Having a plumber do that is kind of cost prohibitive and not very logistically sound. So that one's kind of We're still waiting for some word from DEQ on how they want to handle those. But those devices that you do have that need to be tested, we're offering our testing services. We have 5 certified technicians, and we're very inexpensive. I hesitate to say what we charge, because if there's a plumber or somebody else that's doing it for a fee service as part of their living, we are not in competition with them. We're just offering it so it gets done, so we know, and you know that your product is safe for your uses. So, let Dave know the price if you're interested. So, but it is, we aren't gonna make a living on it. We're not allowed to charge time or mileage, so we only are able to charge a minimal maintenance fee for our equipment. So, we're not competitive. The other big thing that's coming up is the lead and copper rule revision. So this revision requires that every community do a lead service line inventory. So as part of that inventory, there is a historical records review to see if they do exist. And then actually a physical inspection of every water connection to determine what type of pipe it is. If it's galvanized pipe, polyethylene, PVC, lead, copper, line size, age, the approximate age. So this is going to be very labor intensive. The historical records review is something that you may be able to use the services of your consulting engineering firm to do for you. They have a lot of knowledge in that area. They can speed read. And there may be some money from the EPA through the state revolving fund. So it'd be my recommendation that at some point you have a discussion with your consulting engineer to maybe look into the availability of that funding for them to do the records research. The actual service line inventory entering every building, commercial, industrial, residential, and determining the type of pipe within 18 inches of its entrance. It's going to be very labor intensive. You have, 1,500 connections?
Yeah, right in that area, yes.
And on average, you can maybe make entrance to 10 a day. And that's if everybody works with you on it. So I would recommend at some point to maybe think about either a social media or an informational campaign to inform your citizens. This is going to happen, has to be conducted by October of 2024, which sounds like a long ways off, but it's not. It's a very short-term goal. And once the inventory is complete and submitted to DEQ and their spreadsheet form, then there will be a review by the EPA on how they want to proceed with lead line replacements if they exist, and what their cost participation would be. So this is all part of the Safe Drinking Water Act. It's administered by the EPA and handed down to the Department of Environmental Quality for their primacy in the state. Yes, sir.
So there's nothing in the directive right now that says you have to make any kind of modifications. It's just basically establishing the inventory of what the current situation is.
Yes.
Okay.
And they do encourage it if you do encounter one,
Yes.
to work with the homeowner for its replacement.
Okay.
There is some funding currently available through DWSRF, Drinking Water SRF, but you have to kind of be in line for it. So there again, that would be a service you probably want your consulting engineer to handle it. So
You said through whom?
Drinking Water State Revolving Fund. It's EPA dollars that are administered to each state, and then the state agency administers their distribution. And the last item that you're all probably aware of this, is the operator certification requirements for your water and wastewater personnel. Just to, be diligent and help them as much as they need to stay on task, to when they qualify for testing that they are getting in, maybe encouraging them to attend some trainings ahead of their testing. A lot of good information comes out of those. You were talking December, January.
I think first part of January is the first class for testing.
So there are some classes coming up. Our association puts on some. We always have a math refresher the day before the exam date. So it's the last Tuesday of the month is when they hold the exams. Last Monday of the month, we put on a math refresher course. And that's normally in Lincoln, where they host that. We do have a couple trainers that will come out and work with your staff, so we will do on-site whatever they need to get that certification. But they have to put in that. It's not an open book test, so they gotta memorize quite a bit.
And you've been providing them some links and stuff to some different applicable information out there, right? Yep, thank you.
So, and with that, I don't believe there's anything else. I know I've done some leak detection. We've looked at some older infrastructure in your community. Some problem areas, and it looks like you're addressing them fairly consistently, so. I know money's always an issue, and cost of service is a bigger issue, especially in light of the current economy. Do any of you gentlemen have a question?
No.
So my biggest thing is with the lead and copper rule revision and the need for the actual inventory of service lines, it may require some extra help or some extra coordination.
Have you worked with any of the other cities that maybe have already begun the process and what paths they're going down?
Most of them are currently on the historical records review.
Okay.
Either in-house or using the consulting engineer. I've helped a couple ultra small communities with the lead service line inventory, the actual physical, take a look at. And it's all of a minute in the house, but it's that 5 minutes to get in and the 5 minutes of getting out. It's North Dakota, that's what we do.
So the historical records review and stuff like that, they're doing that as the first step, and that would preclude you on those sites that are accounted for there from having to do the physical inspection? No?
You
Okay.
still have to do the physical inspections.
Okay.
What the records review does is reviews from the water main to the shut off, to the curb stop,
Okay.
to see if anything's ever been identified there. You can't enter a blanket no, or I don't know. It'll be returned to the city and with a very stern message from the program administrator. She has said that many times over. She's not taking no for an answer, or I don't. So we can thank our neighbors, several states to the east, for all this. But not pointing fingers, because I point one their direction, and there's a few pointing back at me. So. Well,
So got some work to do.
yes, but it's just to be aware there could be some increased costs or associated costs, either technical services or manpower to get this completed in a timely manner. I hate to say you're gonna probably have to spend more money to meet a regulatory action, but it's the way it's going.
The actual physical inspection out there and stuff does not require a particular, I mean,
No certification.
not to say you could train a monkey, but you could train a monkey and they could do it for you. You wouldn't have to have a licensed plumber or.
No.
Okay.
It's preferred that it's done by somebody under the city's employ for liability and all those other associated things. But it's a very quick, we're gonna be doing some training, hopefully towards spring, on identifying service lines. Yeah. It's so simple. If you've ever been fishing and you use a weight and it bounces off a rock, it looks kind of smooth and shiny. That's lead pipe. It's that simple. So.
Okay.
Well, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
assuming we'll send both of our guys for training, or?
They're in the process already of doing some of the online updates on the information.
They will send in applications for testing, they're just waiting to see if they're going to accept it or not.
We've been having those conversations, so yeah.
All right, moving on. 5C, multi-hazard mitigation plan resolution. Carmen, you're up. How are you tonight?
Good, thanks for letting me come. Yeah, so the mitigation plan right now is in FEMA's hands, and I expect to have it, approved any moment. But we still need to get the cities to adopt it. Then once we get all those, then everything in the one that was emailed to you guys, and I made a copy of it. Then what I'll do is I'll print it, and then all the adoptions will be in there too. Did you have a copy, Monty, or did you want them to sign this one? Copy of the
I have one or
resolution.
whichever,
Okay.
doesn't matter.
I'll send it. All right. Do you have this, Monty, too?
Well,
This is our copy?
keep that, yeah, keep that, that's the reduced copy, but once we get all the resolutions, everything, then I'm gonna send it to the printer and put it in.
Okay, yeah.
Not too fancy, because you're gonna spend that much money on it. Because it's a living document too. I like to put it in a binder or something, that way you can change out.
So this was in our packet. Monty sent this out to us, so everybody get a chance to see it. Okay. All right, so before I sign it,
Yeah,
we need to make a motion to accept it and move forward with it.
I make a motion to accept the Mercer County Multi-Hazard Mitigation Plan, and that we, in accepting it, would have the city sign off on it.
We have a motion by Pillar. Second by Weidrich. Discussion. Roll call.
Pillar.
Aye.
Weider. Aye. Stern.
Aye.
Omenauer.
Aye. Motion carried.
awesome, thank you.
Thank you.
Can I take it tonight, or?
Yep.
And then I'll get you back a copy. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
All right, moving down to 6A, free reduced all rent. Sunshine Club, and I admit I don't know this club. I'm not involved with it. Monty, can you enlighten me?
Yeah, Mark Wassam and his wife run this club to help out citizens around town.
I haven't heard of it.
Yeah, is it new? I mean, no?
They've been around.
They've been around,
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's been newspaper stories about them.
Yeah.
On occasion.
Okay.
Pretty old, actually.
And it's been around
Guess I
for a
should get
while.
involved in our community. Okay, we need a motion to approve this. We want to let them use the hall.
Make a
So-
motion.
Motion by Stern, second by Weidrich. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. All right, moving down to 8. 8A is off the table, so 8B, purchase option from the Weisses for some property.
Apparently I didn't put the map in here. This is a small triangular piece right behind their townhouse on Divide that they own. His intention is to put an accessory use building up there behind their townhouse, condo, whatever up there for vehicle, other equipment.
So between what's existing as their property line and the water tower up there, there's a triangular piece of
Yes.
land?
Yeah.
I can envision it, I'm just not the boundaries of it.
It's actually this little triangle right here.
Okay.
These were all split up into a bunch of different lots,
Yeah.
and then there's that one triangular piece up there yet.
So he gets to, if he buys that, he gets to cut it also?
Yes.
Yeah.
Just that one then.
And the owner of it right now is the city?
Yes.
So then the size of the lot, I guess, was the square footage.
We have a couple seconds, let me look it up here quick. And while you're looking for that, are we obligated to put that up for bid?
Well, I was just gonna ask if it had been included in earlier advertisement.
It had been, yeah, all of those lots.
We had
are
a
there.
whole
one time
grouping of
we did,
lots
yeah,
that
yeah.
we did.
And so as long as we did that,
As long
any
as
of
those
those
ones-
lots, they would open, if anybody ever pursued us, and pursued the acquisition of it, then we would just
They
have
could
to.
make an offer.
Okay.
Yeah, it would be similar to those that we sold on Elbowwoods not that long ago. They were
Got it.
all listed with.
Yeah. Okay, come on. Oh, sure. You don't have the square footage on this one.
It was 125 by 80 something north, and then it comes down to a 17-foot triangle here. Let's try this one.
So it might be like 500 square feet or something.
Actually, it'd be more than that. When I do this thing, it's 7,800 square feet.
Goes all the way to that drainage ditch. Okay.
Yes.
So I guess the price wise, how did we come up with price?
Generally, these are sold for these unpaid specials, or what the city has paid in specials, which would have been $168. So we just set a minimum on this of $500.
And you had that
Plus
discussion with
cutting
them
the
already at that
special.
dollar amount?
Yes.
Okay.
And currently, we're mowing it and taking care of it?
Actually, the neighbor is mowing it right now.
Okay. If we want to move forward with this, we need a motion.
So they still own the end unit there?
Yes, they do.
So then is there, on that lot, is there then already, I guess, a structure there or something? Or?
No.
No, that's a camper park back there. That's actually the neighbor's camper back there too. And then the neighbor's garden is way up here on this other
Yeah, I
lot.
was gonna say, Curtis has got his garden way back there and it's beautiful. He's gonna be disappointed. Well, it's
So
still,
it'll still
the
be,
garden was still,
Be north of the lot.
yeah, it'll still be north of that lot.
interesting. Yeah, they all kind of share that space right now.
So then are the rest of those lots, then,
These are all still city owned.
and those are all up for sale then?
Yep.
Want to get a checkbook out, Casey?
Problem back there is access.
Even at that price,
Yeah, that's a pretty good price.
And we don't have, is there access? Do we have a road access to those? So
No, there's
if
nothing
someone
there.
bought those, we're not building a road.
No.
Yeah, so it's,
Well, what do you think that blue thing is there? That's the road we're gonna build, and when we start developing all of that.
no,
Well, that's the water line. so we
That's
can't
water.
develop it.
yeah, the road only goes straight north,
Okay,
No, this is actually
That's-
platted as a road,
but we don't have a road there.
but there is no road there. No.
Right.
There is no improved road there.
that's,
But if someone buys a lot, let's say they choose one of those lots that are six, like where your cursor was at, they want to build a house right there, well, we don't have to build them a road, do we?
No,
Well, you can build it, but you're gonna assess it to them.
no,
Okay,
because
I
my
see.
sister-in-law owns a lot down past mine. They were gonna build a house there, but there was nobody to clean the snow because the county and the city kind of argued as to who would clear snow off a section line. And so then it didn't happen. So likely somebody won't buy a lot up there.
If they do, and they want a road, then like Monty said, it gets assessed to that person.
Yeah, they would have to do, Fishlands did that, right? They put that road in there for themselves to begin with,
No, that was platted.
or Snyder's. I thought somebody up there.
Snyder's, the road around the north there was their own expense.
Regardless.
Yeah, this.
I just want to make sure we're clear on that right away before people start buying lots there, thinking we get a cheap lot, build a house. And there's no services up there, there's no roads, there's no
Well, there's
sewer.
a water main and sewer.
water main, but there's no connections right now.
No. And there again, those connections would be their responsibility. Yeah, there is no sewer up there.
Right.
I thought Curtis had water out in his garden there.
Well, is that a platted street on the east side?
No, that's a drainage.
That's drainage ditch.
This is the platted street where the water line runs.
No, on the east side.
That's a
Yeah,
drainage
that's the
ditch.
drainage
Oh,
ditch.
that's just a drainage?
Yep.
It's kind of a swale there, yeah.
Oh,
And it drains when it rains.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, the street's
so
platted
there
on
is
the
no
west side.
platted street?
On the west side where the
Yeah,
water
where
line
the
runs.
water line is.
Yeah, that's platted street.
Okay.
But
And no sewer. Right.
It'd be expensive to build up there then.
Okay, let's address the current item here. If we want to move forward with this, we need a motion. If we hear no motion, we'll move on.
I'll make a motion to approve the purchase of this plot.
Okay, we have a motion by Weidrich.
I'll second it.
Second by Pillar. Discussion. Roll call.
Weider.
Aye.
Pillar.
Aye.
Stern.
No.
Omenauer.
Aye. Motion carried. Moving on to reports. 9A, water sewer.
Okay, on the water sewer, I had mentioned at least one meeting, maybe 2 meetings ago, that I was examining the water and sewer ordinance that we have in the city as it related to past due payments and what would constitute the need for a disconnect and what the process was that we were going through. I have made some red lines to that ordinance. I have given those to Monty. He and I have discussed them. He is going to put it into text and then we'll forward it on to all of the board members as well as Tammy and the Waterworks guys, Dave and his 2 staff members there for review to take a look at that language. What I have found in this position is that we have we're spending more time than we should as a city on delinquent water payments and apparently having a fee associated with that is not a real hindrance. So I put some language in place that maybe makes it a little tougher. Well, when we shut off the water, we're not coming out that same day to reconnect. It will be the following business day, but you'll see the language that Monty will forward out there. So take some time, take a look at that. And then we also had some discussion as to the city's responsibility as it relates to installing and disconnecting water meters, customer-owned water meters. And we're looking to maybe put some language in there that says that would be the sole responsibility of the property owner to coordinate that with a licensed plumber so that we're not exposing ourselves. I wasn't sure if there was any exposure to the city from a liability standpoint. If our guys go out there, disconnect a customer-owned water meter and we break something.
Only if we're negligent.
Well, so anyway, just.
And we don't charge to do that either, do we? To take a water, like at my old house, with, on a secondary, it was just something that they,
I think we just charged to turn the curb stop off.
Well, now there would be
But now there's a-
$25 to
Okay.
take it on.
Before we did.
Put it on.
that's twice a year, that's.
In a world where everybody is seemingly doing more with less, I want to make sure that we're working with our folks efficiently.
And we don't have a certified plumber living in town anymore, do we?
No, we don't, but maybe if there's some work created that requires a plumber, maybe a plumber would be willing to start something in our area, I don't know. Create the work, maybe they'll come.
Okay, anything else, Dan?
That's it.
Thank you. Streets, cemetery, anything, Dave? No. Scott, anything?
Already?
He's at 13.
Well, I'm talking about streets, so I just know if you have any.
Oh. No, street, well, yeah,
Okay.
we'll talk shortly.
All right. Okay, finance, busing, library. Okay. Police, fire.
All right, so under the forestry, Mike would like, I don't think Dan got to see that. Mike would like to purchase
Budget.
a dump trailer. Currently they borrow, parks and recs all the time for tree removal. He got a bid last year for it. From last year to this year, it's went up $2,000. It is in the budget for next year to purchase this, but he's got a lot of room in his budget for this year. So he would like to possibly purchase it this year before it goes up again next year. That's brand new. That's brand new.
This is the 14 fire.
Same exact trailer, it's just one's 2 foot longer than the other. So I told him I'd bring it up to you guys.
No issue.
So you making a motion? I will make a motion to purchase the 16-foot PJ trailer.
Motion by Weidrich.
And the dollar amount of $17,760.
This show up as a curtain.
We just got this last week, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
And that helps, right? This one, yes, and this one was in stock, if I remember right.
Okay. Yeah, we have a motion by Weidrich,
I'll second.
second by Pillar. Discussion.
So then I guess in the dump trucks we have, I guess you don't want to use those or?
From talking to Mike, it's a little difficult trimming trees and then throwing the branches up into the trailer. I mean, when you're cutting trees down, the trucks are pretty good, but when you're just trimming branches, it's a long ways to throw this up into the truck. So it sounds like a lot of times they're borrowing parks and recs. And I'm guessing when he uses summer staff as well, you throw those younger folks and stuff in a pickup truck to pull that trailer, that's probably, then you could let them do that on their own versus having to have somebody that runs a dump truck. Mike also brought up, every once in a while he goes down to Bismarck to get some dumpsters for Dave. It'd be a lot more convenient putting the dumpsters in this trailer than that little flatbed trailer they have and trying to tie them down. Pretty rickety, but. So it'd be more of a, not just tree trimming, it'd be multi-use. I'm sure Dave could find some reasons to use it too.
We have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Roll call.
Weidrich.
Aye.
Pillar.
Aye.
Stern.
Aye.
Omenauer.
Aye. Motion carried.
That's
Anything else?
all I have.
You want to touch base on our meeting last week?
Oh, okay. Yeah, we did have a little meeting with the police department last week, Friday.
Last Friday.
Last Friday. There was one that didn't attend.
So I've been kind of working with Jim on some of the policies on our police department. Some of them are very outdated. Some just don't exist that should exist. And notice we don't have a body cam policy at all, but requiring officers to wear them and use them. Most departments are going to that. Our officers already have body cameras, but there's no policy stating they even have to use them. Most departments are. It protects the city, protects the police department, also protects the officer and the individual they're interacting with. So I was working with Jim. Jim did get Mercer County's policy, and he's working with Tammy to change that over and adapt it so we can get that in place in the city of Hazen. Other one we looked at that's a concern to me is bulletproof vest. We don't have a policy on that at all. I did talk to Terry Turnus on that, and they do have a policy at the county. And right away, he told me, if you guys do not have a policy stating that they have to be worn, you will not get grants to replace them. And there is grants, and they expire every 5 years. Last one, Jim said he purchases just under $700, so they're not crazy expensive. If you're doing it every 5 years, it adds up. When we possibly could be getting grants for that kind of stuff. So I asked all the officers if they strongly opposed. None of the ones that were there did oppose it at all. So we're going to work on adopting that policy too. And we just kind of went over
Sidearms.
Sidearms. We talked to Warren Weidrich. He is currently trying to get the entire county to carry the same sidearm, the Glock 45, which sounds like Beulah already switched to the Glock 45. Part of the counties on Glock 45s already, part of the county still on the SIG 229s. Hazen still on the SIG 229s. And his theory behind it is everybody would have the same magazines. In case something does happen bad, that Dan's magazine would work in my sidearm or vice versa. I asked Jim how old ours are. He is not sure. They were purchased long before he was here. So they're fairly old already, so upgrading probably ain't going to be a bad idea anyways. And they are lighter, so that is always a benefit when you're carrying it for a 12-hour shift. Lighter is always nice. A couple of the officers say they actually prefer the Glocks over the SIGs too. So we talked about that, and we talked about being more seen out in public.
Businesses.
Yeah. Going and talking to businesses. I asked Jim if he'd start going up to the school during school hours and just shaking hands with kids, handing out stickers or, stuff like that, making a presence in our community that I think has been lacking for the last several years, in my opinion. So they're going to start working on that and trying to get a little better, be community active, We do also have a police department Facebook page. Only one person has access to that right now. I'm sure you guys have seen dogs posted on there. They find dogs. But only one person has access to that right now. So I brought that up that we could get the other officers in there. So currently, if one of the officers that doesn't have active or access to it, he's got to take pictures, text him to the one that does, and hopefully get them posted on there. Sometimes they never get posted on there. Okay. So it sounds like we're going to have Jim make that other officer give the other guys access to that same page. And Jim did express, what can and can't be posted on there, obviously. But I think it's a good tool, even when severe weather's coming in. A lot of people are on Facebook nowadays. So all in all, I think we had a pretty good meeting. It didn't take real long, but I think it went pretty good.
Did they say we need to upgrade the computer in the main office? Is that
No,
something we're looking at, or no laptop?
Laptops in both of the vehicles are at least 10 years old. I've talked to Monty.
No?
No?
They were purchased about 6 years ago.
Okay, so not that terribly old. In computer language.
But they're still,
In the computer world, it's not,
Monty found a deal that you can get them through the state at a discounted rate, so he's still been working on that. Haven't heard anything back on that yet.
I was just waiting to get the go-ahead to order something.
Yeah.
Right.
I talked to Jim today, so he said to go ahead and order the 2 of them that we had found.
Okay. So,
How much are they?
Just curious.
$369 each.
369? Yeah, they're pretty cheap. I actually looked out on the civilian market and I'm shocked at what
I got the
laptops
specs
cost
on
nowadays.
so that's to what she.
And that's
Provides
a
the county.
a subsidized value for cities and stuff like that, or?
No, it's
So you could buy.
it's not through the state. It's actually through. It's just a different retailer.
pretty good price.
Yeah, Jesse did mention to me this weekend too, Sunday evening, last night. Sounds like that older vehicle's starting to burn quite a bit of oil. He said in the last several days, he's dumped 3 quarts of oil in that thing. We have any word on that new one at all yet, Monty?
I tried contacting Steve today. He wasn't in to see if he's able to order them yet or not. The last time I spoke to him, he wasn't even able to order anything actually. So
Okay. I did talk to Jim about it, so Jim was gonna touch base more with Jesse on it. And then, just really sure that these officers are keeping an eye on it and we don't run it out of oil. And hopefully we can get a new one here this year. Maybe not early next year.
August.
August.
when I talked to Steve, they weren't even doing the 22s. They were or 23s. They were talking already about the next production year.
Just skip an entire year.
Yeah.
Yeah, joys of it. But
Anything else?
no, I should be good on that.
Thank you. HCD, Buster.
Well, first item on my docket to report on is the Partners in Planning Grant. We do have 2 focus groups lined up for not this Wednesday, but next Wednesday. We're gonna do the kids at 9:30. We'll do them here in City Hall. Probably about 12 kids is what we're hoping for. And then we're also doing the business group from 11:30 to 1 over at the Buckskin. Where did that come from? Bison. Don't ask me where that came from, but yeah.
You're a builder, dude.
Yeah, over at the Bison, and so hopefully, I was pleasantly surprised because we had a lot of people. We were doing kind of RSVP in, first come, first serve for the business group, and they hopped on it pretty quick, so that's good. So that's a good deal. A couple of things that I could talk about is I did go to listen to some information on the potential charging stations for battery cars. The state's gonna be getting some money. And of course, part of where that's at right now is they're gonna take care of the I-94 and I-29 corridors. With that, and every 50 miles supposedly is the plan. If there's dollars left over, then they would start branching out to other main highways, but I'm sure that then the next one would be like your majors, like Highway 2 and maybe 85 and those. But anyway, I did talk directly with the person who did the presentation, and I just said, hey, keep us on the radar, down the road. I think that's something that we ought to keep on our radar and move forward on. And that's I did also listen to a while back just some information on charging stations through USDA. And of course, USDA though is part of their thing is, they'll borrow you the money type of thing, Whereas if we could get grants for it, it would be a lot better thing. So we'll just see how that goes, in terms of what materializes with that. The other thing that I'll just share with you, I just had a conversation here the other day. I'm still pursuing some information with unmanned air systems. And if you recall some of our issues, there were 2 grant rounds that came into play, for the state, about 20 million each. And the first 20 million went out to, well, some of it went to Grand Forks, but a big share of those dollars went to out in the oil patch, which makes good sense, I think, in terms of where that's at. In the second go around, went out east because they're going to focus on some of the ag stuff. But interestingly enough, I had a conversation, and what kind of spurred some of the interest, I think, is they're looking at also the possibility of using drones to move medical supplies. Okay, and particularly up at, I had a conversation with the former CEO of the hospital over at Watford City, and said that he would love to be able to, if that was possible, once you could get beyond line of visual sight, and they could just fly them without a chase plane and whatever, to be able to send them to Bismarck. Well, interestingly enough, we're right in the way, right on the corridor. The thing that would have to happen is this, though. And I did ask about this the last time when the last round of grant dollars came into being, and at that time they were saying it would take about $50,000 to upgrade our airport to the radar that would enhance the online and visual sight. And so had a conversation also with somebody from Commerce that lined me up with Walmart is actually looking at doing some of that now with drones to move medication, to drop medication. And then also, would be medical supplies and what have you. So it looks like, I could be wrong about this, but it looks like Grand Forks through UND, Rural Health is going to be applying for a grant, federal dollars, to see if they could put something in place that might end up helping us become certified down here with that, with our getting our airports up to date. And it was just the other day that I had a conversation with both of the guys that actually work for Vantis, Vantis is the organization that runs it for the state. So that's, I don't know if it's a pipe dream or what, but at least we're on the radar. We're going to keep pursuing it, because I think it's going to happen. That's all I have. Questions?
Yes. Yeah. Did you, when you were talking to that guy on those charging stations, did you mention a price of what they cost at all?
You know what? The gal who did the presentation, I think she said that they were looking at about 600,000 a site, I think. I can't remember. You know what? I can't remember how many, or maybe it was 60. I can't remember, to be honest with you. But I was trying to figure out if they place them 50 miles, how many that would take, going east to west and north to south, so, but yeah. And the other thing about that though is that that's probably going to be like an 80-20 match right now is what it looks like. Yeah, so.
Interesting.
So we'll see. Other questions? Okay.
You know, with those charging stations, I don't know how many different types there are, but the ones that are in Bismarck by TJ Maxx, they're run off of diesel engines that are sitting there.
Yeah.
Diesel engines make the electricity for them.
Yeah, and those are for,
It's green energy.
they're the quick ones, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
They're the, what's the car?
Tesla.
Tesla.
We don't want those.
So, yeah, it doesn't make, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Sometimes it doesn't. All right, I'm just gonna mention, I'm going to the conference in Watford City on the middle of the month here for Western Dakota Energy Association. Buster might, are you registered for that too now? Okay. And then there's the, early next month is the Base Electric annual meeting. They'll be attending that one as well. Want to go? You?
What's the date?
Early November, yeah.
We won't be here.
You can be getting sunshine by then. Okay, that's all I have under mine. Old business, 2023 city budget hearing. So, do we need to end the regular case?
Recess the meeting.
So at this time, we'll recess the regular board meeting, and we will call to order the budget hearing. And if we have anybody that needs to speak in opposition or in favor of our budget, we'll take comments. Hearing none, we'll close the budget meeting and re-adjourn our regular board meeting. Reconvene. What did I say?
Readjourn.
Readjourn? No, not even a word. Reconvene. Thank you. The regular meeting. Do we need to vote? Let's take the action right now then? Okay. So then we will.
Please.
Please. Yeah. When do we need this in, Monty, to the
Has to be
county?
submitted to the county by the 10th.
Okay. So then at this time, we will take action on the 2023 city budget.
Make a motion to approve the 2023 city budget as established at this point.
Okay, motion by Pillar.
Second.
Second by Stern. Discussion. Roll call.
Miller.
Aye.
Stern.
Aye.
Weidrich.
Aye.
Omenauer.
Aye. Motion carried. Thank you, Monty, for your work on that.
You didn't get everything you wanted.
What do you mean?
You didn't get everything you wanted. It's approved now. Thank you.
11B. So path light repair and replacement estimates. Looks like we have one here from Empower Electric.
What's that?
Total cost of installing new ballast and bulbs, $1,400. And
Found
You did, didn't you, Casey?
Or Casey did.
Yeah, somebody referred him to me or whatever.
Yeah, that's the one you referred, that doesn't work out there.
so we actually have someone that will do it. Total cost to rewire and install LED bulbs is $1,185.
Well, I don't see a point to re-putting ballast in, especially if it's more expensive. I
So
could be wrong.
those are two options? Is that what that is there?
Yes.
You know,
Yeah,
ballasts
ballast.
are more expensive, plus they're, I mean, they're prone to going out, so I don't understand why we would go that route. And that's just the ones that are not working.
That's just the ones that are not working right now.
That's 3 of them or 4 of them? It's Three.
Three. And then it says that, right.
The only thing to consider there, in my opinion, is when you put the LEDs in there, you're gonna have a different lighting rendition than what you have on the existing operational lights out there. So it may be something to consider for the aesthetics of the walkway paths. If we go ahead and we move forward to fix these with LED technology, we may want to, at some time, consider, and I don't know what the number is of units beyond the ones that are being.
I think there's 10 on that row.
It's 10 total, and we're addressing how many?
3.
3. So there would be 7 additional ones. This is a per unit cost, or?
This is for all 3.
This is for all 3? Okay. Just something to consider, because pretty much guarantee that once we do it, we go to LED, you're gonna have a different light, and somebody's gonna say, oh, that looks kind of stupid, that these are yellow and these are white or something, so.
Yeah. Well, I think as they burn out, we replace them, but they can come to my house and look at my lights, I got different color lights.
And
Scott has a lot of different color
I
lights.
can tell you right now, our serving utilities in town here with the street lighting and stuff, it's not consistent as either. I'm just pointing it out. These are very visible, because they're on a walkway and stuff like that. I'm very much in favor of going to the LED.
Can I just pose one question? You don't know, do you, what the new lighting's gonna be going out with the grant that's going from?
Out to Crosby's corner up there.
Yeah, will they be LEDs? I'm assuming they will be, but you probably don't know.
All I know is that they're gonna be,
There hasn't been any definite answer on that yet. I know they had priced both for that project, which will now be in 2024.
Oh, 2024.
Yeah.
Oh.
Would imagine LED.
I would guess so.
the pedestrian underpass gonna be 24 as well?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right, they'll be different, because you can see the ones that have changed out. They just changed one out over by Jim's place there.
If we wanna choose one of these options, we need a motion.
I'll make a motion to replace the lights with the LEDs at
1185.
1185.
Okay, motion by Weider.
Second.
Second by Stern, discussion. Roll call. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
So then it said something about if it's gonna take longer, it would be a per hour rate or something?
I think that was about it. We wanted more lights
More
done,
lights.
then it just went to an hourly rate.
And that doesn't really say what his hourly rate is here.
Well, for purposes of discussion, I'd say let's address these here. We'll see how it all looks, and then we can have more conversation later if necessary.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Roll call.
Weider. Aye. Stern.
Aye.
Pillar.
Aye.
Omenauer.
Aye, motion carried. Before we move down to new business, speaking of lights, after the last meeting that we talked about lights over there by Buster's place and going up that road, I had like 4 things pop up on my phone talking about solar powered lights. Just because we talked about it, my phone heard us talking about it. That actually was a good idea, to have a pole and solar powered over there instead of having to wire it. At least, it'd be better than nothing, but I think it's something to consider.
I still haven't gotten a quote on putting that up.
Okay.
I'll try again.
But be careful what you say around your phone. 12A, loader brake repair estimate, and let's talk about loader oil change too.
We drained it, flushed it, refilled with the proper oil, and it's quiet. So that's pretty much has cured that problem. This brake problem is something totally different. Going through the service manual that we have, it said if you get this engine or a brake light, contact your dealer or whatever. It's pretty much now a self-repair that we can handle. But the regular differential noise has gone out, the new oil and flushing it.
Okay, so it looks like it's $2,300?
It'll be 27 total.
Oh, 420 on there, okay.
So they come here to
They'll
fix
come
it?
here and do the repairs, yes.
Okay.
Okay. Jason is here, he'd probably be the one that would take action on this, but. Is this eminent? Should we this needs to be done?
It needs to be done as, we don't know if they're gonna fail completely. It gives us a warning. It says you should stop the machine and quit using it. We're
Okay.
using it lightly right now.
So we know for a certainty that this is a condition, that it's not just,
Yeah, they'll bring out their scanner. There's 2 accumulators. He has 2 listed, and he doesn't know if one is bad or if both, or which one is bad. So they'll determine if they're both bad, this would be the cost for replacing both accumulators. There might be just one bad.
So that 27 is for both?
That's for both, yeah.
Possibly could be cheaper than that.
Yeah.
Is that a couple trips? Is that 2 days or something?
no. What is their travel expense? I couldn't see.
$400 from Bismarck?
That includes the labor though, and shop supplies.
Oh, it isn't just travel.
No, it isn't just travel.
Yeah, because up higher, it said labor and travel or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it says travel, but it includes the labor and shop supplies to get to that 420.
Okay.
So they're pretty positive. Have they came up and looked at it at all, or
No.
they just know that's what it is?
Explaining, telling what code came up, he said it's a fairly common problem. They've had this code come up on machines. This will be the repair for it. Now, whether this is 100%, until they actually do the diagnostics or whatever, but he's pretty sure this is what it's gonna be.
Motion to approve with this repair.
Motion by Pillar. Second by Weider. Discussion. We need to hire a diesel mechanic.
Did we look at YouTube?
Roll call.
Pillar.
Aye.
Weider.
Aye.
Stern.
Aye.
Ovino.
Aye, motion carried. Number 13, public comments. Scott, you're up. Either come on up front, stay back there, stand up, sit down.
Well, then I'll stand up and stay back. First thing I want to say, this is pretty interesting. It's fun watching you guys.
You should come more often.
It's kind of neat, actually.
I wish more people would come, actually.
I'm really surprised there's like nobody here.
This is normal.
Yeah. You know, I mean, I heard there was supposed to be like, hamburgers and stuff. Apparently not. First thing I'm gonna tell you guys, I appreciate every one of you guys out there for the job that you do. Because you gotta have kahunas to be able to go up there and do this job. Because everybody thinks you're wrong all the time. You got 2,500 people in town, 2,000 of them are pissed off at you every day. A lot of times, not all the time, I'll tell them, hey, go do the job. See how you get, you know? But my part of what I'm here is, I mean, I'm a little upset myself. Just with, you know, I work for the city, you guys know that, I'm a city employee. I'm also a taxpayer. I really want to beg you guys to go back, step back and rethink the snow gates. Our streets are terrible in the winter. They are awful. It takes us 2 weeks sometimes to remove 6 inches of snow in this town. How do you explain that to people? How do you explain that we can run up and down each street 3 times to get it clean? And after that, you know, we can go back weeks later and peel all the ice off of it. You know, I know it's budgeting, it's money, it ain't easy, and that's why I say, you know, for you guys to figure this stuff out. But I take a lot of pride in my job, and I want to do a good job, and we get ridiculed all the time for what we are doing. And it's just, you know, I know, Dustin, you had a conversation with Ben the other day about this. It's, how you can explain that we can, you know, blade the roads one day and then come back the next day and we run 4 trucks full of diesel fuel and another loader and a snow blower, which each burn diesel fuel. And it takes us 2 weeks to clean our streets. Fuel is, and I'm not saying we gotta do what fuel does. Fuel's got a few more miles of streets, they're done in 2 days. We're not gonna block driveways with snow gates. Look what we did this winter, we had that hell of a storm, I know Jerry, you saw that and all of a sudden you said, we're getting snow gates. And that's when I said, good, I don't have to go to a commission meeting and try this. But look at the money you spent paying people to go clean driveways in town. And then we've got, you know, there's no control. There's busted curbs all over town. There's culverts, I think up by Buster's place that are peeled open. You know, I brought this little sheet here. You know, there's all kinds of nice things and mean things to say. I can't do this, but we're just so limited here. It's crazy, you guys. And then in the spring, you know, we're trying to plow 6 inches foot of slush off the road. And that don't go nowhere. I guess I don't know how to continue with it, but like I say, if you can figure out a way to budget it for, you know, maybe 2 years from now, we don't even have to have both of them. Get us one. I think that was one of your first ideas. You know, get us one.
So
I know it's not going to be this year. It might not be next year.
Are you proposing then a change in philosophy as to how we do, that we be pushing then all the snow to the sides of the streets and stuff like that?
Yes.
And that is, I guess I don't know exactly what Beulah is doing over there. They do that in their residential streets, but on their main street, they still take it to the
Yes.
center and then road the snow?
And we would do that. I mean, there might be other places in town, you know, but if we have a tool. Another thing to remember, in 2016 when I started here, which was a hell of a winter, and you guys were out and we're all, oh, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? We had 3 pieces of snow removal equipment. We lost our motor grader. That was never replaced. We've got 2 pieces, we've got 2, you know, plows to cover the town. And while we're doing that, if it snows overnight again and all the windrows are getting driven on, all the new snow is getting driven on, the snow blower, when we load trucks, there's only so much the guys can see, you know, from that snow blower. I've been in there just a little bit, loading a couple trucks. I'm usually in the trucks. And the snow will go flying off the other side of the truck once it starts getting full, because you don't know when you're full and when you have to back off stuff, and then you got a pile of snow over there. Now you got this big hump that's, in addition to everybody in town who thinks that they have the right to shovel their snow into the street.
I know part of my response and I'll call it cost avoidance by not going down that path at this point was just the experience I've seen up in the city of Minot where they go to the sides of the street. And maybe it was just a bad year, but it's been more than 1 year that I've been up there to where their streets, each time it snows, they get narrower and narrower, and pretty soon, you know, it's very challenging to do two-way traffic.
Every year is going to be different. We haven't had winter since 2016. You know, last year we had, 2-3 inch snowfalls. You know, this last year we had, you know, before we got the big blizzard, we had just about 4 inches of snow, and it was a week later, people were calling, you know, how come my street hasn't been plowed? Well, you know, we're not doing a real service for the citizens here, the taxpayers. And that includes you guys. You know, but.
Well, Scott, first of all, I appreciate you coming in and expressing your opinion. I wish more people would.
Mm-hmm.
I've been on the council for about 15 years, and this discussion happens a lot about snow removal. It's one of the biggest, when people say, what's one of your biggest headaches as a mayor?
Mm-hmm.
Snow removal is probably one of the biggest.
Dogs is getting up.
Doc's is getting up there, and the coal severance conversion.
And I know you
But,
guys are losing money, you know. with-
you know, and we looked at it, we got some, $40,000,
Yep.
if I recall.
I know.
So, and that doesn't add up.
But just look at this one storm. What did it cost you to have all those people clean the driveways this year?
What is it, 15? 15,000?
15.
One
Yeah.
storm, one
Yeah.
year. I know, it's.
Only time we've ever done it.
Yeah.
But
It's a big purchase, but
yeah.
that's why I say, maybe take the baby step, we can get one within the next 3 years.
Yeah.
That goes a long way.
And you're right, we lost our motor grader, we didn't replace it.
Yep.
And that thing
Yep.
that thing moved a lot of snow for us.
And a couple, I don't think it was last year, maybe 2 years ago, I was out plowing and Dave was on the other plow, there was the two of us out plowing for the whole day. And we covered a lot of town, it was a small snow, like 6 inches or less.
Mhm.
But the thing is, we spent all day too opening our own intersections.
Mhm.
That's kind of awkward with just a big angle blade to do that. It's a lot of wasted time.
Yeah.
You know, but like I say, I don't expect miracles, but
No, I appreciate it, I don't think there's a magic
Yeah.
button, I don't think there's a perfect way to do it, but I agree, I think that would be a decent way to go, but it's,
and you know, on top of that too, you know, you talk about snow on the boulevards, and then people call and complain they got snow on their boulevard, and we go, oh, my God, we're sorry, that will never happen again. City-owned property,
Yeah.
that's where the snow goes.
Yeah.
You know? But like, you know, I don't know if you have, you know, how your budgeting works, you know, like, you hear like forestry has whatever, $30,000 of money left in their budget at the end of the year unused, and it goes where, you know, can you take those monies, can you shift monies back and forth? You know,
Yeah.
like I said, maybe make it a 2 or, you know, a couple year progress, you know, where you can get one in a couple years down the road or something.
can we get an equipment reserve, or?
Yeah, forestry funds are general fund dollars, they just stay in the general fund.
Yeah.
It's not like there's a separate pot for forestry
Right.
compared to everything else.
Yeah, I mean, we can have this town basically done in 2 days easily all the time. And, you know, that you're paying, I don't know how much, it's not like we had a ton of overtime this year, but, you know, with that, because we did work day and night, you know, whatever, but all that overtime and then $15,000 to open driveways, and, you know, that was a big hit for you guys. So I guess, you know, right now, all I'm asking is, look at it seriously, don't just write it off. Because it really is kind of embarrassing to be out there sometimes, you know? And,
You know, the other thing that's hard to explain to the everyday person is, you know, we get 2 inches of snow. We don't remove it. But we get 2 inches of snow 3 times in a week, it gets packed down, and then it looks like we're, you know, not addressing
you
things.
don't realize that, that's still packing down, now you've got a half an inch of ice.
Yeah.
And the next week you've got an inch, and that's what we deal with.
Yeah, with losing that blade was really good at scraping that stuff back up.
See, and I don't know a lot about the equipment, but like, you know, you've done some of that too, and I don't know if a motor grader has better down pressure.
Or you got way more down pressure and control.
And I'm not saying we need to get a motor grader, it sure would have been nice to have it, but. Yeah.
But that's almost one of those pieces of equipment, that's all we'd use it for. You know,
Yeah.
for our alleys, we have our land plane, we have our
Yeah.
plane behind our John Deere, we don't need it for alleyways, we don't need, you know, it's not, you know, so damn expensive, you know?
And you gotta remember too, you know, the streets, this is exaggeration, but you know,
Yeah.
they've got a peak in.
Yeah.
Well, the snowplow doesn't, that's flat.
Mhm.
So we leave that ice layer there all the time that the snowplow can't get unless we come through with a blade again, scrape it again and go back through. And the same thing like up in North Star 1, it's just the opposite. The middle of the street is way down here, so now this is all solid ice for the winter.
Yeah.
So you know, you wanna talk about getting your streets narrowed. The middle of the street is useless half the time, and then you've got 2 tire tracks over here with ice, you know, underneath your car, and you're going like this. And heck, I'd rather have 30 feet of asphalt-ish close to road rather than all the ice bumps and chunks and. Anyway,
We hear you.
yeah. Like I said, I got really excited, Jerry, when I heard.
Well, I wanted to, I brought it
Jerry
up.
said, we're getting them next year.
I'm pretty sure I said we were gonna really highly consider it.
No, he said we're getting.
I can't do that. As you noticed tonight, I can only make motions, so I only make the motion, so anyhow, but.
Anyway.
It wasn't, we did discuss it, and maybe we'll look at it again, but
I mean,
we
like I
appreciate
said,
it.
Refresh my memory, did we ever get a quote on like retrofitting
Mhm.
one blade?
We did, was it like 20?
It was about 10,000 less than buying the complete unit.
Yeah.
Who was that through?
Titan machine.
Can we maybe get a quote for free? And see if he can build a snow gate? Just see? You know,
Can't hurt.
I mean, we don't have to approve it or nothing, just get a quote from him and see if he can even do it, you know?
and I'm not saying this would be the way to go, because you always hate to go, used. I don't know if you can buy one that's been used for a few years from like the city of Bismarck or something. They can afford a brand new one, but maybe be a dumb question to ask sometime or whatever. Yeah, I thought about.
We buy used stuff a lot, so
Mhm.
it's
Yeah,
not a dumb,
and
it's not a dumb question at all.
Well, but the thing about it is, yeah, I know that they're gonna use them a lot more miles than we're gonna put on them.
Yeah.
That's one thing.
Huh.
They should last longer than someone like Hazen.
And maybe there is something on the used market out there that they tried it and it didn't work for their particular community for whatever reason, so. We just, in our mind, at least in my mind, I couldn't make the numbers work for that.
Well, because
that
you're
added
looking at that
expense.
initial purchase price.
Yeah.
That hurts.
It does,
But-
it hurts.
What kind of lifespan do they get out of them and so on, and, depending on stuff. But, and just like anything, just like the snowboard, you don't know. Are we gonna have winter again?
Right.
Or are we gonna start having a big blizzard every spring, who knows?
Fair.
You know,
Fair statement.
you don't know, but we got the snowblower sitting there too, that thing wasn't used for I don't know, at least a couple of years, it just sat there because we didn't need it.
Yeah.
But
I like when it sits there.
the other thing is too, yeah, I know, but that snowblower, that size, is not a machine that you use for 6 inches of snow,
No.
a windrow.
No.
And if you take that 6-inch snowfall and split it 2 ways, you got nothing at the curb.
Yeah.
There's just so much to think about and look at, but all I'm asking right now is keep it as an option to use.
Yep.
I think a lot of people would be very appreciative of that. People come from out of town and go, man, you guys must have had a snowstorm, huh? No, we have not.
Well, I'll tell you what, I have had quite a few people from a town nearby us say that they like the way we do our summer removal
Yeah.
versus the way they do theirs.
Yeah.
I've heard that many, many times.
Really. I always thought it was cool. I mean, when I was
Yeah.
younger, the first time I saw that snowfall coming down the street, that was the coolest thing I'd ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
But when you're working it and you see what we're doing and what it has to cost, what you go through to make it work, it's like, to me, that doesn't add up. It's a yearly thing. If we had a regular winter every year after year, and you use that snow plowing and trucks, four times a year or whatever, versus the snow gates where 2 days, like I say, at some point,
Mhm.
it's gotta come off. Anyway,
Okay,
that's all I can say. for
thank you.
now.
All right,
Appreciate you guys.
you bet. Okay, that takes us down to 14, approval of the bills.
Motion to approve the bill as presented.
Okay, motion by Weidrich,
Second.
second by Stern, discussion. Roll call.
Weider.
Aye.
Stern.
Aye.
Miller. Aye. Omenauer.
Aye, meeting approved. Thank you. Meeting adjourned.